Hello children, welcome to Story Time with me, Mrs. Gurr. Today I'm going to tell you a story about a little boy who loves to go exploring. Today's story is called Edward Goes Exploring and the author is David Pace. Edward loved animals and more than anything else he wanted to be the first person to discover a new animal. So one day Edward set out into the wild to see what he could find. He hadn't gone very far when he heard a squeak and a rustling in the big green bush. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered? Some weenie nibbles." "Squeak, squeak, squeak." "We are not weenie nibbles, we are mice," squeaked the mice. Edward wrote a note in his book. Mice. A little further on, Edward heard a croak, croak, croaking down by the pond. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered? Some croaky jumpers." "Croak, croak. We are not croaky jumpers, we are frogs," croaked the frogs. Edward wrote a note in his book. Frogs. Next, Edward heard a hiss, hiss, hissing high up in the branches of an old oak tree. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I have discovered? A slithery slip." "Hiss, hiss. I'm not a slithery slip. I'm a snake," hissed the snake. Edward wrote a note in his book. Snake. Then Edward heard a quack, quack, quacking from down among the reeds. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered down amongst the reeds? I've discovered some paddle quackers." "Quack, quack. We are not paddle quackers, we are ducks," quacked the ducks. Edward wrote a note in his book. Ducks. A little further on, Edward heard a meow, meow, meowing from behind a tree. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered? A teggermog." "Meow, meow. I'm not a teggermog, I'm a cat," meowed the cat. So Edward wrote a note in his book. Cat. Then Edward heard a woof, woof, woofing from behind the wall. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered? It's a weggy woof." "Woof, woof. I'm not a weggy woof, I'm a dog," woofed the dog. So Edward wrote a note in his book. Dog. Then Edward heard a very soft chomp, chomp, chomping. "Aha!" said Edward. "What's this I've discovered? I've discovered a leaf chomper." "Chomp, chomp. I'm not a leaf chomper, I'm a caterpillar," said the caterpillar in a very small voice. So Edward wrote a note in his book. Caterpillar. Suddenly, Edward heard a squeak, squeak, squeaking croak, croak, croaking, hiss, hiss, hissing, quack, quack, quacking, meow, meow, meowing, woof, woof, woofing, and a very quiet chomp, chomp, chomping. Edward! Edward! And the strangest sound of all I have discovered, said Edward, splosher washer. I'm not a splosher washer. I'm Mum. And I have discovered an Edward who needs a bath. Then Mum wrote a note in Edward's book. Bath. The end. I hope you enjoyed that story. I hope you all get outside and see what amazing creatures you might discover. See you soon. Bye.